Welcome to Mika Amcha Yisrael in Hosea. Borei Olam tells us, Eheyeh ketal Yisrael, I will be like dew for the entire Jewish people. The Gemara teaches us that while the Jewish people asked Borei Olam to be like rain, saturated them with Kedusha, he chose instead to be like dew, a gentler force that encourages growth from within. Rain can overwhelm, saturates the soil and exerts an external force. Dew, on the other hand, lightly coats the fields, drawing out the plant's own potential and encouraging them to flourish from within. Borei Olam's response reminds us, true spiritual growth isn't achieved by imposing demands, but by awakening the spark already embedded within each of us. The Shem Mishmuel elaborates on this idea, explaining that while external influences can inspire change, lasting transformation occurs when the individual is guided to tap into their own internal reservoirs of strength and holiness. Dew encourages this subtle organic growth, showing us that Borei Olam believes in our inner potential and invites us to uncover it ourselves. Fascinatingly, Rabbeinu Chidan, writing over 200 years ago, observed an interesting phenomenon. He noted that many converts throughout history have come from Christian backgrounds, yet almost zero from the Muslim population. Why? Where are the Gadim from Islam, he wondered. He explains that Yishmael, from whom the Muslim nations descend, spent his formative time in the womb of Hagar, place devoid of Kedusha. By contrast, Esav, through a challenging figure, was carried in the womb of Rivka Imenu, a righteous woman filled with Kedusha. Even Esav, through her influence, received some sparks of holiness that got transmitted down the generations. Now, one might question that Yishmael, too, was a son of Avraham Avinu. However, the Zohar clarifies that until Abraham's Brit Milah, there was no Kedusha within him. Only after his Brit did he become fully infused with Kedusha, enabling him to pass this on to future generations. Ishmael, being born before the Brit, missed the infusion of Kedusha. This concept of influence and spiritual legacy brings us to a powerful story of a father and a son. Sometimes, even dormant sparks buried deep within can be reawakened by the right moment and the right influence. In Parashat Lech, Lecha, the pasuk reads, Zod beriti asher tishmeru beini u'beinechem. This is my covenant, which you must preserve between me and you. Ubein zaracha achrecha, himul lachem kol zachar. And your descendants from where you come, and after you, every male among you shall have a Brit Milah, should be circumcised. World War II left deep scars, not only on the body, but on the soul. Many survivors, the horrors they endured led them to sever ties with their faith. One such man, Jacob, emerged from the Holocaust with his life intact, but his spirit shattered. Angry and disillusioned with Borei Olam, he cast off any connection to his Jewish heritage. Resettling in Crown Heights, New York, he married a woman who shared his disillusionment, and together they raised a son, deliberately avoiding any trace of Judaism. No Brit Milah, no Shabbat, no Torah. Their son grew up with only a faint awareness of his heritage, and although he too married a Jewish woman, they maintained a secular lifestyle, passing down a distant relationship with Judaism to their children. This approach worked for all his children, except one. To his dismay, one of his sons became a Baal Teshuvah, embracing Jewish life, and despite their differing worlds, the religious son stayed close with his father. When this son became engaged, he invited his father to the wedding, but Jacob reacted with hostility. I love you. I cannot attend a religious ceremony. It's counterintuitive to everything that I believe. The son was taken aback, but he seized the moment. Okay, Dad, if you won't attend, will you promise me something else? Once Jacob acquiesced, he heard this from his son. Dad, will you have a Brit Milah? The father was stunned, having avoided this symbol of faith his entire life, yet bound by his word to do anything his son asked. He agreed, and he underwent the procedure. Remarkably, the Brit had almost an immediate effect. A few days later, while still healing, he reconsidered his decision not to attend the wedding. Telling himself he'd only stay briefly, he decided to go. At the wedding, the father found himself moved by the joy and energy of his son's friends. He joined in the dancing, unable to pull himself away. During the celebration, the caterer approached him with a gift, a $1 bill blessed by the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Nachum Mendel Schneerson, Zecher Tzadik Kadosh Livracha. As the father took the bill, he suddenly turned pale and fainted. When he regained consciousness, he explained his reaction. As a teenager in Crown Heights, I once lined up with my friends to receive $1 from a rabbi. When my turn came, he gave me $1, but asked if I'd had yet a Brit Milah. When I said no, he took back the $1 and told me, when you have your Brit, you'll get your $1 back. The father shook his head in wonder. I just had my Brit, and now, all these decades later, the rabbi kept his word. My $1 finally came back to me. This story reveals the quiet, unbreakable bond that Borei Olam holds with each of us. A bond as gentle as dew, yet as enduring as eternity. Like the dew that patiently nourishes the earth, Borei Olam waits, quietly nurturing the hidden holiness within every soul. The Brit Milah is more than a command. It's an invitation to return, to rediscover the part of us that remains pure, no matter how far we've drifted. Just as a Lubavitcher Rebbe'S dollar returned to the Father's hands after decades, so too does Borei Olam keep his promises, standing by patiently until we're ready to open our hearts. Jacob's journey reminds us that no heart is ever beyond reach and no moment is ever too late. Borei Olam's covenant with us is like dew. It's a promise that waits, a love that believes in us even when we forget to believe in ourselves. Life, it may tear at our spirit and distance us from our true selves, but Borei Olam's love gently calls us back, giving us the strength to reconnect with who we were meant to be. He waits for us to awaken to our own greatness, to feel the depths of his love, and to step into a life that reflects our truest selves. May we be blessed to feel the soft touch of Borei Olam's dew, to sense his quiet encouragement, and to find within ourselves the spark of divinity that never fades. In Tafshin Pehei, let us awaken to our own sacred potential, closer and closer to Borei Olam's embrace. Amen. Shabbat Shalom Mevorach.